So we are talking about this flavor, the language of the food, and that is very, very important in our food world or culinary world. So if we try to further elaborate the word flavors, then definitely we get these components. One is known as the taste, which is perceived by the taste buds. There is another one component which is known as the aroma, and what is perceived by the nose. So taste bud and nose both are combining together, then only we can complete the get the flavor halfway through. And then another one word is coming, that is mouth feel or after effect, after consumption of the food, which is basically perceived by the rest of the mouth. The after feel we still carry forward after eating the food, after consuming the food, that is also very important. And the another one part is which is very important, that is the X factor, and that X factor includes the heart, mind and spirit. Now normally there is a statement that we win the heart through the stomach, and that is the responsibility of the chef, that we should win the heart through the stomach, not heart and then coming to the stomach, rather stomach and then to the heart, and that is a very important factor for us. Now further, if you want to move from here, then we'll see the universal formula of cooking, where we'll be talking about a complete circle like this, and where the first element comes, that is known as the flavors. But the question is it the flavors only which will complete the entire circle, or it has got something more to add on so that the food will become much more acceptable, widely acceptable? Of course, there is another one factor. So addition to flavors, we are having another one factor, that is known as the techniques. Now let us consider, we are having the best flavor of the world in our hand. We are having best techniques associated with. Is it then complete, or it has got some other parts to be taken into considerations? And here there is another one part of it, which is basically known as the execution. Now the formula is like this. Suppose you got the flavor that is 10 out of 10, plus the technique, there also you got 10 out of 10. That means you have adopted both the best. So 20. And if the execution is 1 only, then ultimately your product is not going to speak in favor. So it is not only the best flavor, not only the best techniques you are going to adopt, but the best execution which will be ultimately multiplied, and then the final product will come, that is something which will be widely acceptable. And that is the formula to be followed not only in the world of our culinary areas, but also in every professional world. Flavors, whatever materials, techniques, executions, and then only it will be something to be reckoned. So that is the universal formula followed everywhere in the culinary world. Next slide to talk about us, that is the formula matrix, the flavor matrix. Flavor matrix, we all know that we are having few basic taste buds. One is of course sour, another one is salty, another one is bitter, and the screen is becoming actually disabled because of that. The sweet. So salt, sour, bitter and sweet, these are 4 basic taste matrix we are having with us. And the latest invention of the taste matrix is the umami. Umami is basically the meaty feel or the mushroomy feel or aftertaste effect, whatever we can feel, continue with that, that is known as umami. And if you want to put it forward in terms of language, then definitely we can talk about the pleasant, brothy or meaty taste with a long-lasting, mouth-watering and potent sensation over the tongue. And that is the example or the explanation of the word umami. Now, let us see that how this salt and sour is bouncing to each other or they are complementing to each other. Here, salt and sweet is bouncing or complementing to each other. At the same time, we are having this sweet and bitter. These two tastes are complementing each other. And also, the sour and sweet, that is also complementing each other. So, being a chef, we should have that kind of knowledge in our mind that how to adjust these four taste buds and who is complementing with whom. Once we know the tricks, then definitely we can create enormous effect in the food. Now, here I am trying to show you the basic stimulus associated with the basic taste. First one is the sweetness, and then it is the sucrose, which is simply supplying the energy to our body. Then is sourness, and the basic stimulus for that is the acetic acid, that the basic form of the acid present in many materials which are added to the food to get various positive effects that we'll discuss little later. Next is the saltiness, which is nothing but the sodium chloride, can be used in many formats. Here I can tell you one thing, that most of us unknowingly use the table salt, which is iodized salt, in our food preparations. But from my experience and as from the science, I can say that table salt should not be used for cooking because it is iodized, and whenever you are using iodized salt in the cooking preparations, by application of it, it is get oxidized and ultimately it leaves a kind of metallic taste in your taste buds, and ultimately that spoils the taste of the food. So try to use other salts like Himalayan pink salt, sea salt, kosher salt. These are the salts available in the market which can be very much used for the cooking process. Next factor stimulus is the bitterness, which is coming from the quinine. Now quinine, whenever you are tasting something bitter, it straightway sends a message to your brain that what is that? Because it is unknown to it. And we get a very bitter taste out of that. That is also very much required for our body metabolisms. And finally we get the umami, and for that in short it is known as monosodium glutamate, rather glutamic acid. There are many materials, raw materials, where this naturally present, monosodium glutamate or glutamic acid. We have to incorporate them into the recipe and the preparations so that ultimately that after taste effect is still remaining once the food is made. So all these stimulus, whenever it will be taken into considerations, then automatically the food will be much more flavorful. Now let us see this. Acid is salt's another ego. Here, salt is basically acting as a taste enhancers, and acid helps to bounce them properly or balance them properly or complement them properly. Acid also acting as a foil to salt, fat, sugar and starch. In many preparations we add these ingredients, that is acid, to balance the taste so that the flavor will be optimized. And we all know that addition of acid also have a very direct effect on the color and the texture of the food. Salt basically enhances the sweetness and the bitterness that we have seen whenever you are making stuffed Karela, and on top of Karela we apply little salt so that the bitterness can be balanced and blocked. At the same time, while preparing some sweet dishes, we try to add a pinch of salt over there to control the acidity or pH value of that particular product. So these are all part of the science, very much related and associated with the flavor factor. And also it makes itself the indispensable to everything we cook. So without these ingredients, we cannot proceed our cook. Cooking does not mean that to prepare something. Cooking means that ultimately to reach win the heart to the stomach, and by fulfilling all the criteria. Here we can see the art and science of flavor. Being a chef or a budding chef, we should have this knowledge in front of us that if your food is too salty, add an acid or sweetener such as vinegar, lemon or lime juice, canned or unsalted tomatoes, sugar, honey or maple syrup. You've got immense length of ingredients available in front of you, and if the food is salty, you can adjust with these ingredients, so automatically the taste will be balanced. Next is, if your food is too sweet, add an acid or seasonings such as vinegar or citrus juice. So definitely it will be adjusted accordingly. And finally, here, if your food is too spicy or acidic, add a fat or sweetener. Then what is the science of it? The first point of the science is that the human tongue can pick up on 5 distinct tastes. That is sweetness, saltiness, sourness, bitterness, and umami, that is known as savory or mouthfeel. So we should try to look into the science and then activate on the other side, that is the art. So science, once it will be applied with lots of logic, then it will become art. So there is an art and science combination. Second point here is the flavor. Every other element that makes up of flavor comes from the aroma of the food, and it is estimated through science, and it is proved that 80% of the taste is experienced through smell only, and rest 20% is something else. So if we can give our attention towards the how to get the smell better, then automatically our job will be very easy. And finally, this is where the chemicals, both natural and artificial, come into play, as they can be used to alter the scent and thereof the flavor of the food and drink. So this, one side is the science and other side is the art, and it is how well I am applying science into the preparation, that is the art. We should try to develop that thing in our life. Now, we have also mentioned about the techniques, and let us see how these techniques are to be involved, and we are having almost a very fair idea. I'll try to elaborate in the form of matrix. There are a group of methods, that is braising, stewing and sous vide, which is coming under moist and slow category. So whenever as a chef I am trying to adopt a technique, I must know the science behind it and how it will be applied over there. So I cannot adopt a wrong technique, so ultimately I will be landing up to a wrong place, that is a wrong product. Similarly, there is another one category which is B category, that is roasting, smoking, barbecuing, confit and oil poaching, which is coming under slow and dry method of cooking. So once I know that this is a product where the dry cooking method to be adopted and that has to be slow also, then probably these are the methods I'm going to select. Similarly, the third quadrant, if I take into consideration, which is coming under fast and dry category, and which is talking about baking, grilling, searing, sauteing and broiling. So as a chef, we should have a very, very clear idea about the category of this cooking, and accordingly it will be adopted into our techniques. And finally here, we get the last group of methods, that is techniques, which is fast as well as moist. So that is boiling, simmering, steaming and poaching. So I always suggest that as a chef or a budding chef, we should have very clear-cut and crystal clear knowledge about the category of techniques we have mentioned out here, and accordingly you are going to select the process for your particular preparations. So out of smell, we have mentioned about smell, texture, then temperature, and also I have mentioned about the word technique. So these are the techniques we should be keeping in our mind before adopting it into the process. So what we can say then 360-degree execution, what is that? Definitely as a chef we should have the inspiration from inside, then only we can work on it. And once the inspiration is there, at the same time we should have the creativity. We'll try to create something, and then the presentation process. Once we take these three aspects or elements into considerations, and then we can evaluate any kind of product on the basis of these. Appearance always tested on the basis of 15% out of 100. Execution is 35% and taste is 50%. So we call it a EAT model for evaluating food. E is execution 35%, appearance is 15%, and taste is 50%. So once these are the factors taken into considerations, definitely you will get the optimum results. And that is known as a great cooking. So whenever the great cooking you are going to achieve, then what are the factors exactly you want to keep in our mind? That is maximizing the flavor. That is one of the major points we should always keep in our mind and activate that into our regular practice. Second point is that pleasure by tapping body, heart, mind, and spirit. Because I have mentioned in the beginning, unless and until if we want to win the heart, we should go through the stomach, and we should feel that after eating the food, what kind of feeling I am having remaining in me, and there I win the world. And the third and final one is that communicating via language of food. That is, whatever you have discussed, that is basically the flavor, techniques, and execution. This is the language of the food. When everything will fall into the places, food will ultimately become acceptable and widely acceptable, effectively acceptable. With this, I am giving a great thank you to all of you. And if you are having any questions, you can easily raise it to the convener of this session. I am there in the session, will be able to answer these questions. Thank you very much from my side. Thank you. You can take it over, Deepti.
Sir, you may need to make host.
What do I do then?
You need to make me host.
I'll stop sharing.
You can stop sharing and make me host. Go to my icon, sir. Go to my icon. There is an option is there. Make host.
See, let me check first, because you are probably using these free Zoom app, no?
No, sir. This is a purchasing pro version.
Acha. How come it is becoming like this?
You need to go to the find participant bottom. You can find my picture over there.
I cannot. I'm not getting that part actually. It is end meeting for all. No, I'll cancel it first.
You can
go to participants list, sir. You will write or type Deepti, so you will get.
No, that screen is not coming.
You can push
stop share first.
ESC button. Sir, you can push
okay.
ESC button. You are in full screen mode. That's why you are.
So I've clicked it, your name.
You need to click my name. There is an option.
Make host.
Make host. Yes.
No one host only No, the option is. I'll make host only. Should I make it
host? Then I can allow to go for other participants. There are many participants are there. They are also waiting to join us.
So
sir, go down. There is an option says participants. Goes down.
I got your name there.
Just click on that name. You will get the
I am getting
options.
host only.
No, no. You just click on his name. You will get options.
Dipti Prakash Sahu, it is clicked.
Sir, then you do one thing, sir. You can fast stop your sharing.
That I'll do first. It's very difficult from here to control.
सर आप क्लोज करके ना शेफ आप क्लोज कर दो लीव कर दो दोबारा से कर लो एंटर तो somebody
I'll
else will
stop sharing. I'll stop sharing.
Yes.
Okay.
Now you can go to participants.
I'll click on Dipti.
Yes, there is an option called make host or mute or something.
Make host.
Click on this.
Done. Done.
Done. It's
Done, no?
done, Dipti sir, it's done. Now you are the host.
Okay.
Unmute yourself.
Gaurav, you may continue, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Banaful Banerjee, sir. This has been a well-crafted PPT, and the information delivery is something that we as a faculty should also learn. I mean, not just about this particular topic, with the way you were delivering it with the help of that PPT. That was really soothing and really something to watch out for, sir. I probably felt amazed and really happy that I should also try such things in my teaching, and we look forward for that. We look forward for interactive session in the question answer session. Thanks for the
I'm there.
yes, sir. Thanks for the valuable information. There is
Thank
an
you very
announcement. Yeah, thank you, sir. This is an announcement that we are facing some technical glitches, so there might be an issue of drop down of this video. So you may rejoin. We would be running this like that. The show must go on, and now I have an esteemed expert with us, profound prolific academician, Dr. Himanshu Rao, sir. I would like to give a brief introduction for sir. Sir is an academician, founder, an iconic figure in academics. Sir holds an expertise on the several topics, several subjects of hospitality. Sir, on the other hand, shares diversify experience on several aspects. He has been developing and co-creating several research pedagogic activities that have tangible impact in the society and probably on the mind of the learners, students. We are thrilled to have you, sir, on board, and we are looking forward for an interactive session. Without wasting further ado, I request you to please share and address us. Himanshu, sir. Meanwhile, I request all the participants, we've had an exciting and learning session. So jot down all your questions for question answer session. We would be taking your questions for sure.
Sir, you may start, sir.
Over to you, sir.
Sir, your audio is muted. Your audio is muted. You may unmute your audio. It's processed now.
Okay, namaskar to all. Now I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good morning to all the respected. Actually, basically, I am not a chef. I am begging that I am not at all a chef. I have worked for a very few days in the commercial kitchen of any hotels. Okay, basically I am a critical thinker. I am a researcher in tourism and hospitality management field. So when Dipti Prakash Sahu, actually he is my direct student from Shiksha Anusandhan University Bhubaneswar. I taught him for around 6 years from undergraduate to postgraduate. So when he has requested me to be the panelist in this great webinar, then I had asked who all are among the panelists for this webinar. Then I found all are eminent chefs, and I am a poor person in this panelist. So I thought I should not speak more, though I am a researcher, though I am a critical thinker. So just I will request to the eminent chefs present over here to include my research into the plate of the food. And as per my research, I know we are what we eat. We are what we eat. And our food is only as healthy as it is grown. So if I am not wrong, very recently, the Honorable Prime Minister of India has declared the program Atmanirbhar India. And as I know, the theme of webinar is vocal for local. So always I prefer to do research, how to apply the research in reality in our industry. And I thought I should think about vocal for local in our food service. That's why my topic will be responsible food service. How we will be responsible towards the food, what we serve to the eminent guests of our industry. As I was listening to our teacher, our guru, very senior teacher, Professor Banful Banerjee sir, and I know him personally. I have not met him, but I know him. He is having tremendous knowledge, and I think he has described about the food and flavor matrix and methods of cooking and everything. I don't have that much of knowledge, but I want to give you some research points. As I found Dr. Rasmi from IIT Kanpur, she is a scientist from the mother's milk. As he just around 800% more, 400% more in Indian mother's milk, which is a very hazardous condition of Indian mother's milk. If we are telling the first food of human being is mother's milk and it is healthier, it is very beneficial, then how it has become so hazardous with the content of indocyanate and chlorpyrifos, which is very harmful. As per a research by Dr. Mohan Kumar from Kerala, the place is Kosargarh. The name of the place is Kosargarh. It's a place which is a very pollution-free area, which is surrounded by 2 rivers. There is no smoke, no pollution, no factory, but around 5,000 persons affected due to endosulfan. How it has come to air, how it has come to human body, how it has come to this type of situation due to the cashew cultivation, cashew nut cultivation at Kerala. The government has permission to spray endosulfan from 1976 to 2000. After a public petition, they have stopped spraying endosulfan on cashew nuts. As per Kavita Krishi, she is a member of Alliance for Sustainable and Holistic Agriculture. Her around 61% of food samples in 2001 is contaminated, and around 61% of whole samples which are not fit for consumption. Why I am telling? Because though we are preparing food for human being with a high price, I am not talking about the food which is served in the roadside dhaba. I am talking about the food which is produced to the eminent guests with a high price. In those cases, I will request to the hoteliers, to the eminent chefs, we should focus on providing the healthy food, and we should avoid the GM foods. What is GM food? GM food means genetically modified food. You must have heard about the tomatoes, which is seedless tomato, which is a very tasty. If you will research how these tomatoes are developed, these tomatoes are developed genetically by combining the gene of tomato with the gene of fish. Some people are telling me I am totally vegetarian, I will take the vegetables only. But you will be astonished. The scientists, those who have developed these GM foods, they have combined, and I want to say the chefs under these GM foods, brinjal is very much dangerous. Brinjal is such a brinjal which is genetically modified by the scientists, and they have developed up extra pesticides plants. Inside the plant itself, the pesticides are developed. And if we are going to serve this brinjal, either maybe boiling by any type of healthy method of cooking, but still we are serving the food with pesticide, which is very much hazardous. Not only brinjal, but also BT ladyfingers are coming, BT tomatoes are coming. So in this context, even if the milk is polluted by synthesizing it, if you will tell about the eggs, half-held egg means what? If the egg is modified by estrogens, egg is modified by estrogens, these eggs are not produced naturally or by the produce of mating of male and female cock and hen. That's why this is not at all fit for human consumption. I want to say to you all, this is one research. This is a very danger condition in India. You will be astonished by listening. By consuming this half-held egg, the breast development among the male members of our country has increased a lot. As per the research, the plastic surgery has done more numbers of breast development among the male members in comparison to female in our country, and this has happened due to these half-held eggs. So it may be your only egg white omelette, it may be cheese omelette, it may be any type of scrambled egg or boiled egg, but at the taking into all these type of vegetables, contaminated food products, GM foods, if we are going to prepare any type of dish, colorful, flavorful dish, but at the end I am here to say these all are not healthier to consume.
Imran sir.
So,
Imran sir.
how we can implement vocal when we locally products as the raw materials